Welcome in to Moving the Chains, brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. I'm Kevin Thomas alongside John Epps. Terrell Hendricks back on the board as always here for our Round 3 playoff preview show, talking all things South Carolina high school football. John, it's the point of the year now where every game is a big game. Every game could be a game of the week, man. We are just loaded with big-time matchups across Palmetto State this Friday night.
Yeah, they as they say, the cream rises to the top, and this weekend you can't get upset about any of these games. These are some really, really good games we got on our hands this Friday.
Certainly, like I said, good in all classes and all across the state, man. But as always, appreciate you guys tuning in. Be sure to follow us here on Facebook, on Twitter /X, on Instagram, YouTube, and more at Movin Chains. That's MOVINCHAINS. Our website, movinchains.com, and our podcast on Apple, Spotify, Google, and more. We do a weekly preview show, 7:15 on Tuesday nights, breaking down all of that week's action. We have coach interviews, player interviews, teams of the week, food reviews, all kinds of great stuff as well every single day that comes out. So hopefully you'll check us out, not just on Tuesdays, but across the week as well. Right now, get your Moving the Chains merch. Some great stuff for you. We got some great hoodies for that cold weather. We have a gray one right here, kind of an ash color as well. Some great T-shirts. We have a black one, a navy blue, a gray, and a pink for the ladies. Some great hats. Richardson hats, you see the black front up there. Got a couple gray front ones as well that you can order. You can email info@movingchains.com to order yours, or just DM us on social media. So Moving the Chains stickers, great for your car, laptop, cup, whatever you can put it on. And then obviously Moving the Chains toboggans, a gray and a black as well. Order your stuff today. Help support us. Help grow the brand. Love to see folks out at games wearing this stuff and help them spread the word and just getting more eyes on the program and more eyes in turn on South Carolina high school football. John, anything else from you before you're ready to roll here with our Round 3 playoff preview show?
I just hope we have the amount of good games that we had this week like we had last week. Last week was very exciting. That was really, really good stuff, and hopefully we see more of the same here this week too.
Yeah, we saw some surprises last week, some games we didn't see coming. Didn't see a whole lot of blowouts, a lot more close matchups it felt like, and just some absolute thrillers coming down to the end. Courtney says, hey, guys, good seeing you, Courtney. Appreciate you joining us here tonight. Kevron, good to see you. Kevron says Gray's going to win the state title this year. They are still playing out a chance. Zach says, good evening, guys. Time to separate the boys from the men on Friday night. Time to put up or shut up. Clinton facing adversity Friday night, helped them win that game because it showed they could do anything no matter what. Yeah, big win for the Red Devils over Saluda. They got Fairfield Central at home on Friday. Dion says, good evening. Good seeing you, Dion. Appreciate you joining us, buddy. Terrence says, good afternoon. Hampton County's in the house. The Hurricanes are playing good football. Big win over Sherrall last Friday to advance to round 3. Bulldog says, Stromthorne versus Chester, their revenge game. A game that John and I got to see last year where Chester won at home, this time going down to the Peach Fields for that matchup. Ashley says, Pageland Central Eagle football. Big game for the Eagles. Trevin and Philip Simmons will break down that one here in a little bit, Ashley. You're looking forward to it. Nathaniel says, hey, folks, hey, fellas, got a rematch Lower State 4A. Everyone been wanting. Yes, North Augusta, South Florence. We got them on both shoulders here. We got a good game this week. Roquest says 0-4 to round 3. Let's go Rams. Yeah, Westside has now won 8 in a row to get to this point. Scott says, what's up, guys? We're reaching the house. Big win for the Seahawks last week. Moses says, what's the word, fellas? Good seeing you. Moses, appreciate you joining us here on this Tuesday.
All right, let's cut it short. Let's get it going, guys, and talk about these CONA games of the week.
This is what everybody's here for, right? Our CONA games of the week. We'll start with 5 of the biggest games across the state before we break down the rest of the statewide slate. Our Carolina Orthopaedic and Neurosurgical Associates games of the week. Our first one, a heavyweight 1A matchup, John. I cannot wait for this football game. Number 3 in our poll, the Carvers Bay Bears at 12-0, taking on the number 2 Bamberg-Ehrhardt Red Raiders, also 12-0. Both teams have been absolutely rolling, John. Last week, Carvers Bay, a 56-8 win over Lakeview. Bamberg-Ehrhardt, a 49-6 win over Latta. Both teams beating up on Dillon County a little bit last week, I guess it was there between those two. The Bears averaging 32 points per game on offense, 11 allowed on defense. Bamberg-Ehrhardt, 54 points per game on offense, just 4 allowed on defense, John. What do you see in this matchup, man? Because it's hard to find a fault or a weakness in either one of these football teams.
These two teams seem, just when you put them on paper, extremely similar. Physical, tough teams, and been dominating the competition as of late. I have a feeling we're going to see a low-scoring game, though. I think the defenses are going to prevail. I like the physicality for both of these groups. And I got to go with – I think I've caught myself a few times making some picks on not the new kid on the block, but, a little bit of an upset of a perennial program. We all know that we picked against Dutch Fork a couple weeks ago, and that blew up in our face. I got to go with the brand. I got to go with Bamberg-Ehrhardt in this game, and they're at home. And they have been dominating every single week. Carvers Bay, we talk about how great of a season they've had. They won a ton of close games early in the season.
Yeah.
Back them blowing everybody out. But they had a lot of close calls early in the season, whereas Bamberg-Ehrhardt's been pedaled to the metal every game except that Barnwell game. They won by 2 scores still. I think Bamberg, I think they're going to win Friday. I think they're a really good chance to win state now. 2 weeks ago, I've been, I don't know. Probably Abbeville's going to win that game. But now, Bamberg, I think they're in the driver's seat. I think we see them take care of business on Friday. But this should be a great game, very physical game. That's going to be a really good one to watch.
Carvers Bay, they've got 2-year starter at quarterback Christian Simmons, running back Kennard Hayward last week, John, 14 rushes for 280 and 2 touchdowns. I'm not great at math, but that's a pretty good average right there, 14 for 280. Julius McCray, also a weapon for them. I love tight end, defensive end Jaquan Hanna. He's a freak athlete. Offensive lineman Zion Giles, Super 75 guy, Shrine Bowler, South Carolina commit, leads that really talented offensive line for them. Defense is physical. They're big up front as always. On the Bamberg side, quarterback Brian McMillan has stepped in this year and played phenomenal for Coach Crosby. Last week, 11 for 15, 305, 4 touchdowns passing, 130 rush yards, 2 more touchdowns. And he plays defense, John, had 14 tackles, 2 PBUs, and a pick 6, scored 7 touchdowns last week for the Red Raiders, man. So many weapons on offense with Jason Humans had 75 yards, 2 touchdowns. Ant Williams had 85 and a touchdown. Jordan Beauvain, 92 and a touchdown. Marcus Cann, a special athlete there as well for the Red Raiders defensively. They've allowed 55 points all season long, John. 55 points all season long. Unreal what they are doing. Mitch McMillan already for them. Jalen McGraw's a big player, 16 tackles, 3 TFLs, and a sack. Also Walker on that side of the football. The Red Raiders, I feel like if you haven't seen them in a couple years, they spread it out a little bit more than they used to. They're not as much of a just, power run type style. They fling it around a little more with some of the athletes they've got there and what they've done at the quarterback spot the last couple years especially. You mentioned it earlier. I feel like the close games, Carvers Bay, I think they've got a strength of schedule advantage. Like to play a little bit tougher non-region probably than what Bamberg did. And they've been in some close games early. If they can make this game close, does that favor Carvers Bay? I don't know. That's always a worry when you get it this late in the playoffs. If you haven't played a close game, if you end up in one, how do your guys react, That's always a big question there. I think really the breakdown for me, though, it comes down to the Bamberg-Ehrhardt athletes versus the Carvers Bay line. Carvers Bay, they want to maul you up front. They want to run the football, milk the clock, just pound you. Bamberg-Ehrhardt, like I said, spread you out a little bit more, a few more athletes out wide. My worry is, does the defensive line for Bamberg hold up against Carvers Bay? If Carvers Bay can get that run game going, milk the clock, get an early lead, can they just do that for 4 quarters and win a low-scoring football game? I think Bamberg, though, a few too many athletes will be able to spread them out, be able to make enough stops on defense. I think they use their speed to win this game. I like Coach Crosby's bunch going on to the lower state final. I think Bamberg-Ehrhardt in a close game, maybe like in the teens, 21-14, 21-17, 21-20 type of ball game. I think it's low scoring, but should be a fantastic matchup with the Bears and the Red Raiders. Jarrell, what do you like? What's the chat saying on this one, man? 2 phenomenal squads here in this matchup.
Yeah, like both these teams is what we like. That's what stinks this time of the year. We get to the 3rd round, like John was mentioning, the cream has risen to the top here. These are some of the better teams, better programs that we've seen all year. To win this game, I like Bamberg to win. I'm not going to give like a score prediction or anything like that. I just think what we've seen out of them just so consistent on both sides of the ball. I mean, you gave the numbers here. I mean, they're almost, scoring per game what they've given up on defense all season. So like that is ridiculous stuff. But that's not to take away what Carvers Bay is doing. And they're very much capable of winning this football game as well. So no surprise if they're able to pull it off. And not just the Carvers Bay, talk about the strength of schedule, non-region. They played a tough region schedule as well. One of the better 1A regions that we see, knocking off Lakeview a couple times, Latta, Johnsonville. So, I mean, these are two undefeated teams for a reason. Leaning heavily, though, in the comments for Bamberg here.
Yeah, Corn says Bamberg by a lot. Nathaniel, Bamberg going to win state. They escaped this game with a win. Deion says 35-21 Bamberg, too much offense. Bulldogs says, give me Bamberg-Ehrhardt rolling CSRA here. Terrence says Bamberg by 8. Zach says whoever wins this game wins state. Interesting. Certainly a couple of the front runners, no doubt about it. Dude says Bamberg offense too high powered, 42-21. Denard says Carvers Bay in house. Appreciate you, Denard. Thanks for being here, my man.
But yeah, a lot of Bamberg picks here. It's going to be a fantastic football game. I mean, you hate to see someone getting their first loss in the third round of the playoffs, but that's what's going to happen on Friday
yeah,
night.
Going to be a great one there, Carvers Bay and Bamberg-Ehrhardt. Our second CONA game of the week, a 3A matchup that people have been clamoring for a while now, John. Belton-Honea Path, the Bears undefeated 12-0, number 4 in our poll, traveling to take on the 11-1 Woodruff Wolverines, number 5 in our poll there. BHP, a 52-6 win over Southside Christian, averaging 51 on offense, 10 allowed on defense per game, led by quarterback Noah Thomas, 9 for 11 and touchdown. On the season, has 31 pass touchdowns, just 4 picks. Also ran it 8 for 73 and 2 more touchdowns last week. Has 500 rush yards and 11 touchdowns on the season on the ground as well. MJ Earl, 17 TDs for the season. Receiver Tajay Watson-Martin, just shy of 1,000 yards, is a dangerous factor in the return game as well, John. Has 2 punt return touchdowns and a kickoff return touchdown on the season. Defensively, had 3 scores last week. Ty Rainey, a fumble recovery touchdown. Tajay Watson-Martin, a pick 6, and Malachi Bowler, a pick 6 as well. Led in tackles by Ty DeBose, KJ Miles, and Jakari Anderson. John, this BHP team's been rolling all year long, man. I'll break down Woodruff here in a second, but, what are some initial thoughts on this game, man? It's two high-flying, just powerhouse programs, powerhouse communities that really love their football getting after it on Friday.
Yeah, BHP has had questions going into this year, obviously losing the talent that they lost off of last year's state title running team, and they have answered the bell. They've been really good. I thought last week, Southside Christian might be able to give them a pretty good game. I thought that was going to be a pretty competitive ball game, and it was the opposite. I mean, they destroyed them. And I look at Woodruff, and I love this Woodruff team, but after last week, that the defense scares me a little bit. And, we've seen Noah Thomas play at BHP, and I thought, they're going to have a hard time. BHP will have a hard time winning football games where they got to put the ball in the air. He's had a great season.
Yeah.
I mean, 31 touchdowns. That's no joke, no matter what your schedule is. I think the Bears have really proved it here in the playoffs, as they typically do. And I think they win this game. I think they've got enough offensively, and they've been playing well enough. They have the confidence to do it. And just from this show, I think they got a little bit of a chip on their shoulder, which is pretty dangerous for a team that is as talented as they are. It's going to be tough to go on the road and win. It's a really, really good Woodruff bunch. But I think we're going to see Friday. I think we're going to see this PHP team. They got a lot more talent offensively than I think what we have given them credit for this season. I think we're going to see a high-scoring game, and I think the Bears come out on top.
On the Woodruff side, you mentioned a close victory last week, 40-37 over Christchurch. The Cavaliers missed the field goal as time expired that would have tied that football game. The Wolverines averaging 40 points per game on offense, just 17 allowed on defense. Quarterback Connor Davis, 14 for 19, 202, 3 touchdowns, 30 touchdowns, 4 picks on the season. Can also move back there in the pocket, too. He's a dangerous run threat as well. Big-time running back, Aiden Gibson last week, John, 36 for 311, 2 touchdowns in that one, including the game winner late. Receivers, Corey Moats, Dre Jenkins, Curtis Bell, tight end Cam Taylor, a Shrine Bowler, a Super 75 guy for us, is a stud as well. Defensively, linebackers, Sean Graybill and Trayvon Lee, Moats in the secondary. I like that front seven a lot. Defensive line's really good. Linebackers are really good. Secondary could be a little bit suspect. We saw that last week. Jude Hall for Christchurch, 3 big touchdowns in that game. I know they lost, but he had a big-time performance there for Coach Hatfield's Cavaliers. Both teams are very balanced on the season. BHP averaging 222 rushing, 170 passing. Woodruff cannot get any closer. 205 rushing, 204 passing per game. Unreal what they're doing there. And we talked about it all year long, John, where BHP They didn't play the toughest schedule. Like, they beat the crap out of everybody. Like, their closest game is 27 points. I mean, that's nuts. 4 scores is their closest game all year, man. They have been doing a fantastic job there. This is just rolling everybody. It's one of those things where I think BHP has just got so many playmakers offensively, so much talent there. You feel like you almost want to lean that way. But then you look at Woodruff, and they probably got the best player on the field with Aiden Gibson. I mean, the kid's a stud. And what I like about him, and maybe an X factor here, Gibson's a sneaky good receiver out of the backfield. And Coach Sloan does a really good job either getting him out of the backfield with a good matchup or moving him to the slot, get a good matchup there. He can be a difference maker there, catching the football as well. Something to look out for in a big game like this, man. Going to be a fantastic game. 2 of the better offenses we see. I think it comes down to both teams are able to score. Who can make the most stops? And especially for BHP, can they take advantage by throwing the football on that Woodruff secondary? I think that is going to be the key there. What can Thomas do hitting Watson Martin, hitting those guys out wide? That'll be the key for him. Drew, who do you like in this game, man? This is a one where, if you look at it, we've had them pretty much neck and neck in the poll all year long, really right next to each other. It's really tough game to pick. Like I said, when we introed it here, these are 2 programs that, it's still kind of got that small town feel. Like these teams, they love the football at BHP, love the football at Woodruff. Man, it's going to be a great atmosphere on Friday over there at Varner.
Yeah, I mean, that's why you play the games. I mean, you look at this like preseason, no doubt I would have picked Woodruff if I would have thought this was going to be the matchup, because you saw the glaring loss of Marquez Henderson from this BHP squad. But it seems like they're actually playing better this year without having him, which is crazy to say how good of a player he was. But it just seems like this team is completely gelled, and they are just playing fantastic football. Like you said, closest game, 4 scores. Can't overlook. I mean, they smoked Greer early in the season, smoked Westside, who's still playing right now. I mean, I know Westside's a completely different team than what they were, that point in the season. They beat them 42-6. So you can't overlook it too much. So I'm leaning BHP this game. I think the Bears are going to win. I had them on upset alert last week. Regretted that because they smoked that Southside team. And I really do love this Woodruff team. I think this is going to be a really, really tight game. I picked against Woodruff too this year. That blew up in my face as well. So I don't really know which way to go, but I'm leaning with the Bears. I think they're going to win it. I think it's going to be a fantastic football game. I love this classification of football. Like you said, 2 small towns going at it. This is just old school. You just those old names, a lot of championships. Should be a fantastic football game. A lot of comments to filter through too.
Well, one of these things too, I was going to mention, obviously, when you win every game by 4 scores, like every quarter looks great and everything. But I feel like a key for BHP is like they've really started fast. I think last week they went up 21-0 right out of the gate. So I think a key for Woodruff is can you kind of hold them off early on, get the game flow going. Don't turn around and be down 2 scores in the first quarter. You got to be able to hang in there.
Well, it's complimentary football too. I mean, they scored 3 times on defense. So,
exactly.
I mean, if you do that, you're going to win a lot of football games as well. So you all bro taking BHP? I'm going BHP.
I'm going to take. Sometimes you get in these spots where it's just so even. You don't know what you want to do. Do you take the home team? What do you do? I'm going to take Aiden Gibson and Woodruff. I think he's on a mission this year, man. Like something seems a little different about him. Like obviously he's a stud. I think he is going to lead them to victory, receiving, rushing, big game for him. I think it should be a good football game. If BHP wins, I'm not going to be surprised at all. But I'm going to take the Wolverines to win at home. So we'll get a little split vote here, Wolverines and Bears on this one.
I like it.
There you go.
Yeah, Deuce. Yeah, BHP can't stop 32 long night. Exactly right. Like if he gets 300 plus again, I like their chances. We'll put it that way.
Which he's fully capable of doing.
Zach's going to be close people think with being in Woodruff, one of the toughest places to play on the road. Yeah, certainly great environment over there. Going to be awesome over WL Varner. Bulldogs taking Woodruff 35-17. Justin, hoping Varner will be rocking Friday. I'm sure it will be, man. I've been twice this year. Great atmosphere both times so far. I'm sure it'll be even better on Friday. Travis taking Woodruff for the upset, 38-31. Corn's liking Woodruff. Roquez, if BFC's going to win it all, this is the year. Dion says 38-28. Woodruff, Aiden rushes for 200 plus and 4 touchdowns.
He's done it a bunch.
Going BHP, says Donnie. Nathaniel's got BHP 35-34. Patrick says Woodruff. Man, we're getting both sides of this. I love this.
This is great.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll keep it at that. It's really split, so it should be a competitive game. No one knows definitively which way to go, and I love it.
I will say, if one team is going to blow out the other, I think it's BHP. But I think if it's a close game, I'm taking Woodruff.
Okay, let's go to the next one, guys.
Our third CONA game of the week, another massive 3A matchup. Number 3 in our poll, Loris, the Lions at 12-0, taking on the number 2 Newberry Bulldogs, also 12-0. Loris, a big win over O-Dub last week, 56-20, averaging 48 on offense, 11 allowed on defense. Newberry, 41-21 over Hanahan, 43 points per game on offense, 13 allowed on defense. That Newberry group, quarterback Kenton Caldwell, a dual threat, was putting up crazy numbers early on in the season. Had a couple injuries here and there, but he's back now for that team. Running back B.J. Jones, 100-plus yards, 5 touchdowns last week. Receiver Jameer Crooks is an all-star. Receiver tight end Jamel House, Super 75 guy, Shrine Bowler as well. Cash Brown, also a weapon out wide. Really big offensive line, man. As big of a group as you'll see at the 3A level. Defensively led by Julian Sin at linebacker and also defensive lineman Jordan Wright. On the lower side, quarterback Moon Gerald didn't have his best game last week, John. 2 touchdowns, 2 picks, which was more than he had all season long. Now he's got 41 touchdowns, 3 picks on the season. Deuce Stevens, though, picked up the slack for him running the football. 18 for 252, 4 touchdowns. Percha, Sherman also running option for them. Receiver Jacobian Grimm Lewis has 11 touchdowns. Offensive line is really good. 4 multi-year starters there. Defensive line, Demaria Thurman, Landon Connor lead that group. Ethan Shaw is a playmaker along with Jay Dalton Todd, and then Lewis on the back end. 2 teams that haven't lost a game, John. They've looked really good all season long. I will say last week it felt like neither one of them played their best. Hanahan was hanging around, had the lead, I think, at half on Newberry there. Loris, I mentioned, a couple picks from Moon Gerald. They're not their cleanest football game. I think both teams play a lot better this week, but should be a great matchup.
I think so, too. I think we're going to see a well-played game. It's in the sense that I think it's going to be well-disciplined. I think we've got two teams in this matchup. They've got a lot of experience and a lot of good leadership. I think they're going to clean up those mistakes that both of them had last week, and we're going to see a much cleaner game. I expect this to be a really, really good competitive ball game. I think both of these teams have got some really good talent they can lean on, some leadership that they really trust. And both of them, I feel like both of them, this is the year you can do it. In Lower State, hey, this is, you got senior leadership, you're good. This is going to be the time for both of these programs to really get a real good shot at winning the state championship. And I don't know who I like more in this game.
Yeah.
I think Newberry might have the best talent, but I think Loris might have a little bit more good talent on their sideline. I think they got a couple more guys. I think it's going to be an absolutely great ball game. I want to lean Loris, but that's a big stretch. I mean, that's a big time road trip going all the way out to Newberry. That's a good environment in Newberry. A well-coached team. I'm going to go Loris. I like I think they're a little more explosive offensively. I think they're a little bit more explosive offensively. And I think, honestly, I would call their defense a little explosive. Yeah. I think they can really be disruptive on that side of the football too. I'm going with Loris because I like their big play capability just a little bit more than what I see out of Newberry. But this should be a fantastic football game. Hope we see a really close game and a well-played game. I hope we walk away from this one going, okay, that team earned it. It wasn't a bad turnover or penalties. And I think we're going to see that. I think we're going to see a really good game.
And what I love about these two teams here, John, they're both really experienced. I mean, and we've said a lot of these names for multiple years now with Gerald and Lewis and Stevens for Loris, Thurmond as well. The Newberry side, Howes and Caldwell, like guys that we've talked about for a long time here in the States. They're really cool to see them, play up their potential this year and really get to this level. Loris, the key for me, I think, they're a very athletic group, big on the lines. A lot of big offensive plays come when things break down. So that'll be a key for Newberry. Like, when Gerald starts scrambling, you can't let him find Lewis or one of those guys for a 60, 70-yard touchdown. Got to keep him kind of contained, keep him in the pocket, make sure things kind of stay a little more on script there for the Lions. But, I think, and I've pounded this drum for a few years now. What Coach Mance has done there at Loris has been awesome. Like, that was a program that was really, really down, and he's turned them into a legit contender year in, year out. And on the same thing on the Newberry side, Coach Jeter probably inherited a little bit better situation maybe than what Loris had when Mance came in, but still, he has even leveled those guys up, man. A deeper and deeper run every year, it feels like. A real chance to go to Lower State, may even go to state this year for the Bulldogs. It's going to be a fantastic matchup. Two of the, like I said, bigger lines you'll see in 3A on both sides here. A lot of playmakers both ways. I'm a little worried about Caldwell. Is he completely healthy? I don't know for Newberry. That's a bit of a worry for me. But then obviously on the lower side, Gerald, 2 picks last week worries me as well. I know O-Dub's got a solid defense, but Newberry's athletic too, man. They can get after it. So going to be a great football game. Drell, who do you like in this one? The Lions at the Bulldogs. What's the chat saying as well? If you're going to pop in here first, let us know.
I'll let you be the deciding vote. I'm going to go Newberry this game, so I'll let you have a moment there because I'm looking at this, man. It feels like this should be Orangeburg right here. We got Upstate versus Lower State. It seems like it, but no, 2-12 again. 2-12-0 teams. We've talked about how good these teams are. It's a stat. I was doing some prep work. All the teams we're going to mention from the high school league this week are a combined 93-3. So us picking a team is not saying anything negative about the other team here. Like Newberry, I just like them at home. This one is so tough for me. This is probably the toughest game of the week to pick because it just seems like you were mentioning, both of these programs have been building to this moment. And it feels like it's just 2 weeks too early. These are two coaches who have really done a fantastic job. These are players that have grown up in this program and these systems and just bought in and, really worked hard to, like we're talking about Loris last year, finally beating Dillon. Newberry going undefeated. I mean, they've won 2-4 more games each year that Coach Jeter's been there. So, I mean, it's just been so fun to watch both these programs. I'm simply going Newberry because they're playing at home, but I love both of these programs and both of these teams. Should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I mean, which has been evidence, we've had Newberry a little bit higher than Loris all year in the poll, but reputation pick for me here. If you guys have watched the program the last 3 years, whose drum have been banging every week? It's the Loris Lions. Like I got to take Loris here. I like both squads, man. I think Gerald just cleans it up this way. I think he gets it done. A tight football game here. I'm going to go with the Lions. I've just been on that train for a while. I can't get off now, I guess. So let me take Loris to win this matchup.
Most definitely. Let's look at a couple comments, though.
Donnie says Newberry wins. Rami's got Loris. Kiva says Newberry 49, Loris 42. Man, that would be a barn. I'd love to see that football game. Dion's got 31-17 Newberry.
Let me filter through. We had a little argument going on in the chat. Let me get to some comments here.
Bone Bird says Newberry big in his opinion. And both teams have played some pretty good non-region opponents. I know Loris played a bunch of those big schools down at the beach. Newberry's played Clinton. Newberry's played Fairfield Central. Some solid squads as well. Scott's got Loris with the win.
I like Deuce's comment here.
Deuce's spot. Exactly. Hey, let's play tomorrow night. I'm in for that. Let's get it going. Travis says Newberry big.
Let's see.
Kivas has got Newberry by 7. Patrick says Newberry as well. Denard's got Newberry by 10+.
Yeah, a lot of split picks here. Mostly Newberry though. We'll see how it shakes out in the pick'em contest. Make sure y'all join that for the playoffs. But let's go to the next game, guys.
Our fourth CONA game of the week, a rematch of the 2024 Lower State title. We've got the North Augusta Yellow Jackets at 11-1, taking on the 11-1 South Florence Bruins. John, North Augusta, a big win over Gilbert last week, 35-7. Averaging 45 points scoring on offense, 14 allowed on defense. South Florence, a shutout win over Bishop England, 43-0, averaging 45 on offense, 13 allowed on defense. North Augusta still rolling with 2 quarterbacks. A.J. Hillary, Colin Tillman kind of splitting time there. Running back Michael Doe, the Shrine Bowler, the Gardner-Webb commit, Super 75 guy. A little banged up. I think he's back this week. I know Jaden Hatcher has stepped in, played really well for them. Had 228 all-purpose yards and 4 touchdowns in that win over Gilbert last week. Offensive line led by Malcolm Gaston, Liberty commit there. Receiver Isaiah Smith, so up a weapon for them. Defensively, love the defensive line. Davion McKinnis, Simeon Jones doing a great job up front for Coach Bush there. Linebackers Dante Bell, Derek Thurman, DJ Johnson had a pick last week. Zeddy Tillman had 2 picks last week. On the South Florence side, quarterback Messiah Jackson, 15 for 22 and a touchdown. Also a very mobile threat for the Bruins as well. Running back Cam James, 15 for 149, 3 touchdowns. Gabe McLaughlin, also 11 for 40 and 2 more touchdowns Receiver June Perkins, 6 for 40 in a TD. Malik Robinson, a weapon out wide. Defensively, they just have so many guys, names we've heard for a long time, with Terry Gordon and Warnell Prue, Willie Kennedy, DBs, Amari Reeves, Frederick Cooper, Will Wilson, Josh Gant, Quayshawn Bird. Two loaded teams, John. This game last year, North Augusta goes up 20-0 the first quarter. South Florence comes back and beats them 27-20 to win the lower state championship. A rematch that I think a lot of folks have wanted to see for a long time. Probably were hoping to be in the lower state final, not here in round 3. But, man, what do you like in this matchup? Do the Bruins win again? Do the Yellow Jackets get a little, revenge, get a little get back? What do you like in this matchup here?
Yeah, I know North Augusta's they've been wanting this game. And I think you probably can ask them and say, hey, we want this game in the 3rd round, 2nd round, lower state, whatever. We want this game again, because they're still sick about losing that big lead that they had. But if I'm South Florence, you think, talk about this revenge game for North Augusta. They could have won last year, all this and that. If you're South Florence, I'm looking around going, hey, we're not going down 20-0 again. That's not who we are. That's not what we do. I think South Florence is going to come out really ready to go themselves. And they've proven it time and time again with how well they're coached and the kind of product they put on the field. And it's every year. It's every year, and it's different names. And they're doing it. They do it every year. Physical up front, good defense. They play smart. They understand what they can do offensively, and they do it very, very well. I like the Bruins at home again. I think they win this game. I think they are going to be very ready to not get started out on the wrong foot like they did last year. And I think that's going to be – I think North Augusta would need that. I think North Augusta needs a really fast, a really good start to win this game. I don't know that they're going to have that happen. I think South Florence is going to be good enough offensively to put up enough points on this North Augusta team to stay ahead of them. I like the Bruins at home.
North Augusta been a little bit sloppy in a couple games lately, some penalties and whatnot. You can't have that this week. I do like the Yellow Jackets defense. They've done a really good job of limiting big plays, which is a key, especially down the stretch here. South Florence, they don't really want to big play you to death. They want to kind of, grind the clock, which shouldn't be a big issue there. But North Augusta's done a good job of kind of limiting this. But two teams here, John, that have really dominated their opponents. Both teams have won 10 games by 20-plus points. I mean, just blowing teams out all season long. Really impressive stuff what they've seen. And two guys that I feel like the programs, the style of play kind of mirror each other. Like both teams really want to, dominate the line of scrimmage. You have to really focus on the run game, play strong physical defense. That's what both these guys do. Coach Bush has done a great job there at North Augusta. Obviously, Coach Marlowe at South Florence, 2-time state champion now, done a fantastic job in this one. It's going to come down to, I think, for North Augusta, can you get anything from the passing game? Doe's going to do what Doe does. Like he's going to be healthy. Even if he's not, Hatcher's going to be there. But I think Mike Doe's back. He'll do his thing for the Yellow Jackets. But can you get a couple big touchdown passes from Hillary? Can you do something, out wide? Can you make North Augusta kind of play back a little, open up some run lanes there for Doe is the key. And on the South Florence side, Messiah Jackson has been such a steady force in the last couple of years. Taking over after Lenore's leave, he's done a fantastic football job there. Running that offense, passing and throwing, or passing and running. I like these teams a lot, man. I think South Florence at home, like you said, probably gets the edge here in this one. But that should be a great ball game, man. I think two teams that you could see a 20s type score again, it feels like, because the way they want to play the football game. But, Drill, who do you like in this matchup here, Bruins and Yellow Jackets?
I'll make it a sweep. Give me the Bruins in this one. But, man, talk about some passionate fan bases, some regional pride in the state here with the CSRA versus the PD, man. It's going to be a lot of fun seeing how they match up. Just two hard-hitting, teams and programs. So have to buckle those chin straps up real tight for this one. I just like the way that South Florence has been in these huge games, but not just been in them the last few years. They've won a lot of them, won the vast majority of them. So that's why I give them the edge here. Love what North Augusta does. It also feels like South Florence has kind of flown under the radar this year. Well,
I think part of this, the region was not very good.
Yeah.
They played a tough non-region. They beat Somerville in overtime.
Yeah.
Got hammered pretty good by Northwestern. But, after that, the region was down. Hartsville was down this year. Like, there's no really good other team for them to play. So we haven't talked about them a ton, really. And then same thing for North Augusta. Like, Gray Collegiate's really good in that region. But besides that, bunch of blowouts, as you see by 10 games, by 20 plus points.
And we expect them to win all these games. So it's, when you see them win game 42-7, it's ho-hum. They did it again.
Yeah. Yep. Par for the course. Yeah. But South Florence, that's the way Coach Marlowe wants it to be as well. Kind of just lay in the weeds. It kind of like the same thing happened last year until it got to this point in the season. So we'll see what happens. But there's going to be a lot of talk, especially throughout the week in this particular football game. But let me get to the comments. I think we're going to set a record for comments this week, guys.
Maurice's North Augusta by 3. Deuces, I hope Doe's healthy. I think we all do for sure. Bulldogs is giving me Nolf revenge game. North Augusta 27-20 says Denardi. I'm thinking a score like that. I think in the 20s is probably what we're looking at because the way these guys want to play, a little more low scoring, run the football type deal.
We've been yelling this between ourselves all week, so all caps as well for us.
Dion's got North Augusta big. Says they make a statement in this one. South Florence taking the win, says Scott. Dunn has got South Florence by 21.
I'd pay 50 for this one.
Bulldogs says 35-21 North Augusta. Roquest says South Florence big. Patrick's got South Florence to Fighting Sellers. Jeffrey says long ride North Augusta. Yeah, not a short one, that's for sure, Jeffrey. Courtney's going North Augusta 35-28.
Oh, let me see. Sorry. A lot of comments to filter through, guys.
Y'all got a drill working overtime today. We got Jonathan says South Florence by 28.
But yeah, should be a lot of fun with this one. Let's go to the next game, guys.
Our 5th CONA game of the week, our SCISA game of the week, the 3A state title played 7:30 p.m. on Saturday night. We got Wilson Hall, the Barons, 11-1, taking on the 9-3 Pinewood Prep Panthers. Wilson Hall, big win, 50-29 over Hilton Air Christian last week, averaging 37 on offense, 17 loud on defense. Quarterback Ford Wilder, multiple backs, Millen Galloway, Ben McLaurin, Cameron Wilsey. Defensively, McLaurin, Dinkins, Wilson Jones, Gilly, Matthew Beamer get the job done there for head coach Adam Jarecki. On the Pinewood side, a big 45-6 win over Florence Christian, John, averaging 45 points coming on offense, 19 allowed on defense. Quarterback Silas Broner, 9 for 15, 152, 2 touchdowns last week. Running back Grayson Salago, 11 for 131, 2 touchdowns. Receivers Lavoris Lucas, Hayward Moore, and Jaden Alexander. Defensively, Will Watson, Jacob Sweet, and Mason Howard lead that group for Coach Devontae Holloman. This was the state title game last year, John, and Pinewood Prep won by a score. They played earlier this year. Wilson Hall gets some revenge. They win 28-21. And I think that was a big win for them to kind of get over that hump and know that they can beat this Panther squad. I think that was a really key victory to kind of just, for a mental edge there for the Barons, it felt like.
Yeah, for sure. And this is one of those situations for me. Obviously, both of these teams are really, really good. That game earlier in the year was at Wilson Hall. And I think Pinewood is one of those teams. And I would say this if the game went the other way earlier. I think Pinewood, they're too good of a team, I think, to lose twice to the same group. I think this is it's a tough spot for Wilson Hall. You can split with these guys and you don't win the state championship. But I think that's what we see on Friday. I think Pinewood is going to come back and get a little bit of the revenge from the regular season game. Neutral site. I think they win it. And I tell you, I think you're going to see another 28-21, one score kind of game. But I think Pinewood, I just think they're too good to lose to the same team twice.
Yeah, and I know there were some fireworks between the two coaching staffs when Wilson Hall beat them a couple weeks back. A little disagreement there on the way the game was played. But I know Wilson Hall, you think about what they want to do, the way they want to run the football. They're going to milk the clock. They're going to snap it with inside of 5 seconds, 10 seconds every time, really try to shorten the football game. And if you're Pinewood Prep, that puts so much pressure on you, because you can't have an empty possession, because you might not get the ball back for 6-7 minutes because Wilson Hall is just going to milk that clock. I think that's the key. I'm going to take Wilson Hall to win again. I think Coach Jarecki may have figured something out there. I think the Barons win a state title this year. A great football game, I think, between those two. But I like the Barons to get the 3A state title on Friday, Saturday night. Drill, who do you like? What's the chat saying in this matchup?
Yeah, I think that's the real revenge if Wilson Hall can win the state title game. Regular season game, that's cool and all, but if you get to actually, like John said, get to hold up the trophy, that's the real revenge and the get back there. So I like Wilson Hall on this one as well. It's going to be tough to beat that Pinewood Prep team twice in one season, but this is a completely different, playoffs, championship game, season within a season, all those cliches. It's a completely different situation. So I like Wilson Hall to win this one.
Any comments from the chat from any of the other games or this game we need to get to before we move on, Jarrell?
You know what? We have had plenty of comments, and I'm sure we have plenty more to come. So we'll just move on to the next portion of the show.
Once again, our CONA games of the week, we have Carvers Bay at Bamberg-Ehrhardt, Belton-Honea at Woodruff, Florence at Newberry, North Augusta at South Florence, and Wilson Hall versus Pinewood Prep in our CONA games of the week. Lots of great picks. We're split on a couple of these, going the same way on a lot of these too. But if you guys just tune in, if you missed part of that, you can always go back and watch those when the show is over. They'll be live on Facebook and YouTube. You can go back and watch all of our CONA games of the week. Jarrell, let's shout out some friends of the program, then come back and go through the rest of the statewide slate this week.
Everyday life means everyday expenses. Spend smarter with a Founders Federal Credit Union credit card, offering you low rates and big rewards where it matters most. Enjoy all the benefits of saving while using your Founders Essential MasterCard. Make every swipe and tap count with smart rates, big rewards on select cards, and no balance transfer or annual fees. Because your money should go where you want it to. That's the power of Founders Federal Credit Union. Apply today at foundersfcu.com. Relax. You're with Founders.
With 3 convenient locations in Spartanburg, Duncan, and Greenville, Carolina Orthopaedic and Neurosurgical Associates, CONA offers the most advanced training and experience in orthopedic surgery, neurosurgery, sports medicine, and pain management in the upstate. Go to kona.care to learn more.
John, let's take a look at the rest of the playoff bracket. Let's start in 5A Division I and work our way through the rest of the state.
All right. So this is, we'll start at the top of the bracket. Northwestern and Gaffney. I don't think a lot of us had Gaffney in this spot, but here we are.
Yeah, John, do you want to read through all these and let's go back and talk about them, or go through them one time? What do you want to do?
Yeah, I'll read through them.
Perfect. Let's read through them. Let's do it that way.
Let's read
Division 1, not Division 1, not Division 2, Division 1. Dutch Fork Burns first.
So we'll have Dutch Fork hosting Burns. Ridgeview will travel to Dorman, Carolina Forest at home against Somerville, and then Stratford hosting James Island.
Yeah, let's start that Burns Dutch Fork game, man. I know Dutch Fork last week, Stone Furry didn't play. I think he's back this week for the Silver Foxes. I think the key for Burns, we know what they can do with Segura, I know what they can do with Fuller on the ground there. The key is going to be, can Kane Rogers make enough passes to win that football game? And I think Dutch Fork probably knows that. Like, they're going to shut down the run, let Gibson and those guys, Anderson on the back end, play some one-on-one against the Rebels receivers and kind of see what happens there. I think Dutch Fork is getting better and better. I think they win this football game on Friday.
I think so too. And I think the other big thing is they can block up front.
An inspiration to Zach here, young Zach.
Zach pulling the upset. I like it, Zach. I like it. That next game was what, John? Ridgeview at Dorman?
That's correct.
The Blazers bunch, man, you feel like they've got a chance to make a deep run. Like, they've got a couple losses to Sumter, who is a good football team, Northwestern and Dutch Fork, obviously, as well. But I like Dorman. I think Dorman's just been kind of laying in the weeds this year. I like what they do offensively with Nick Means and that crew there, to Meek Slidell throwing the football. I think that, they kind of mirror somewhat what Sumter wants to do as far as running the football, and that gave Ridgeview a lot of problems, obviously, a few weeks back. I think the Cavaliers, Contavious Anderson on defense as well, I think they win that football game for Ridgeview, but it should be a great ball game over there in Roebuck on Friday.
I think Dorman's got to play a good game. They've got to play a good game. They can't put the ball on the ground, turn it over at all. They've got to play well. But I think if both of them play well, I like the Cavaliers to win at home. I think the Ridgeview defense just lately has been just a little bit off from earlier in the year. Yeah, I think Dorman is good enough offensively. They got enough talent offensively to do enough to win that game.
The next one we had was Somerville at Carolina Forest. Somerville got a little revenge last week. Javen Williams came back from injury, played a great football game, maybe his best game of the year for the Green Wave there. Carolina Forest, man, it's a team that just keeps rolling. They've haven't had the toughest region schedule, haven't had the toughest playoff schedule yet either, but they keep winning behind Long at quarterback and Fox there at the running back spot. I think Somerville too talented for that Carolina Forest punt. I think what they do on defense, especially. I think the Green Wave defense will give problems for Carolina Forest. I think Somerville wins a full football game, probably by a couple scores on Friday.
I think so too. I think last week was just what the doctor ordered for them to get that revenge game against Ashley Ridge and to win it in the fashion that they did. I think if they were lacking any confidence, they got it all back last Friday, and they're going to be poised and ready to win on Friday on the road over at Carolina Forest. And
then the last 5A Division I game, James Island at Stratford, two teams that couldn't have won wilder football games on Friday. James Island comes back to win in double overtime. Stratford wins on a Hail Mary. Just two nuts football games. I was lucky to see James Island in person last week. Really impressed with that group. And I think the speed up front for them, especially on defense for James Island, probably gives them a slight edge over Stratford. I know they're playing on the road at the Castle. Tough place to play there. And also, after seeing James Island in person, I didn't realize how good the quarterback and the receivers were for them. Connor Dantzler for James Island, super impressive. 6 touchdowns last week. The receivers with James Hurto and Rafael Puyu was awesome, man. Made some great catches, doing a great job keeping plays alive. Dantzler did as well. Really like what I saw out of them. But Stratford, they may have the best backfield in the state, with Jake and Davis and Malik McGowan. This is a big-time game, John. If we had to go one more CONA game, it probably been this one. This game is just lights out on Friday. What do you like in this one?
I tell you what, I like everything about this game. And what I think what the difference maker is, we talked about James Island all year, the last few years, about how defensively is where they hang their hat. And we sat here last Tuesday and we talked about, Sumter's very physical. Sumter can put the ball on anybody. They can score on anybody. And they did. You put 35 and you say, hey, Sumter's going to score 35. I go, they're probably going to win the game. James Island won the game with offense. They are a great team defensively, and they won on offense. To me, that is, you talk about great teams at whatever level. Being able to win on offense and defense, that's major. That is really, really big. I'm going James Island on the road getting the W.
I interviewed Coach McCoy post-game last week, and he stopped me and said, Kev, who'd you pick? Knowing that I picked the wrong team last week. He said, all right, well, who are you going to pick next week? I said, you know what? The Trojans are hot. I'm going to take James Island. This is for you, Coach McCoy. I appreciate you, man. The Trojans are playing great football. These are two teams that are really good. I know they're both kind of eyeing a potential rematch with Somerville next week if they could get to that. Both of them lost to Somerville. That's their only loss in the season. But I think James Island, I was really impressed with them on both sides of football last week. I think they win this game, a close one on the road here. Drill, comments from you or the chat on 5A Division I?
Just stick with that game. I want to give a shout out to Coach McCoy there.
Yeah.
The biggest thing I saw in that game was them shutting those guys out in the second half. Center. Yeah. And I know we were impressed with the James Island offense, but they gave up 28 first half points and then didn't allow them to score again until overtime. Mm-hmm. So got to love those adjustments and what that coaching staff was able to do. The biggest comment that two comments I like to see is, are we overlooking Carolina Forest? Which we could be.
It's hard to say. I don't know. It's just they played one really good team this year and they played Irmo and they got smoked. And besides that, they haven't really played anybody, which is what worries me. It's hard to get a good read on those. Like I said, I love Jaron Fox, former player of the week for us. He's had a great season, great career. Cam Long has been everything you could ask for and more at the quarterback spot there for Coach Morris. I just don't know if they have the horses they need to beat Somerville, who I think is a really good football team.
Yeah, another thing, Deuce, I feel like he's giving us a little bit of validation. It is cool to see a lot of Charleston teams. These are the teams that we have talked about all year. They've been in our poll all year, and here they are at the end of the season. So it's good to see them continue to perform into the playoffs.
No doubt. Anything else on Division I?
Let's go ahead and move on to D2, guys.
Well, let's look at Division II, John. How about this time? I think maybe we just we break it down as we go through it. It's probably a little bit cleaner that way if we do it, if that makes sense.
All right, let's do that.
Yeah. Perfect. Let's look at 5A Division II, John.
Yeah, starting at the top, Northwestern hosting Gaffney, a matchup that we're familiar with.
Somehow in what's supposed to be a down year, supposedly for the Indians, they're still here in the third round of the playoffs. Just one of those things, man. It's just the Indians, they know how to win, man. That program, Coach Littlejohn taking over has done a great job there. They expect to win football games. They expect to make deep runs in the playoffs, and they did it again. I think the key for them this week, they're going to need to control the clock. Bowton's got to have a great game running the football along with those other guys, Bailey, Hill had great games last week as well. They're gonna have to control its clock, control the game on the ground this week, kind of shorten it. You want to limit Northwestern's possessions as much as you can, of course. And on the flip side, the Trojans they just start fast. They didn't have their cleanest game last week. Started off a little bit slow. Had a big second half to kind of pull away there. X factor potentially. Cam Vance in the return game returned another kick for a touchdown last week for Coach Walford's squad. Can you do that again? That could be a game changer there in that matchup. But should be a good one. Always fun when those two guys get together.
Yeah, great matchup. I mean, I like Northwestern. Patrick, you asked for it, you get it. I gotta pick Northwestern. I think offensively, I like them a little bit more than what we've seen on Gaffney week in, week out defensively. But Gaffney's going to come out there and they're going to make them earn it.
Oh,
and
yeah.
This is going to be a game where both sides, those guys are going to be sore on Saturday. This is going to be one you got to go out and earn. And it's going to be a great game to watch. I got a feeling Gaffney, even if they don't win this game, they're going to make it competitive. This is going to be a close game. This is going to be another great ball game to watch and keep track of.
Next game, John.
Let's go Indian Land, traveling to TL Hanna. TL Hanna tell you what, they really knocked off Greenville after the close game a couple weeks ago. Indian Land really put the hammer down on a Hillcrest team that I thought was going to have a good chance to win. I thought they were in a good shape. This is going to be a fun game. I like Indian Land in this game. I think Indian Land I think they're a little more talented. TL Hanna, obviously, they play their own style of football and they're really good at it. They're playing at home. But I like Indian Land. I think this is a really, really good football team. And the fact that they won as big as they did last week shows me that they've got their confidence. They got their swagger back too. I know that Northwestern game a few weeks really, really hurt them. I think they're back now.
This is two really contrasting styles too. TL Hanna obviously wants to run the football all the time. Indian Land, more of a pass first to set up the run type of deal. Big game last week from Hayden Morris for them. I'm intrigued with this matchup. I don't know what to do. Like the thing that keeps popping in my head though is that TL Hanna offense is so hard to prepare for. You hadn't seen it. Yeah, you hadn't played about anybody like that all year. That might give a slight edge to TL Hanna at home, but should be another good one there in that matchup.
And then we've got on the other side, Irmo hosting White Knoll. It's a White Knoll team I've been high on all year.
Yeah.
I really like these guys. They're playing really good defense. I don't think they're going to have enough to stop all the weapons that the Yellow Jackets have there. I think it's a relatively competitive game, but I see this going 24-14, 28-14 kind of ball game.
Yeah, Irmo beat White Knoll 14-3 earlier this season. I think Irmo's defense is just too much. I just don't see White Knoll scoring enough points to win the game. I think what the Yellow Jackets can do defensively will really hold him in check. I think Coach Brand's bunch moves on.
And then at the bottom side of the bracket, Berkeley will be hosting Myrtle Beach, a Myrtle Beach team that here they are.
Yeah.
And then Lower State semifinals all of a sudden. Really good football team. I think they're good enough. I think this is similar in a way to the Irmo White Knoll game. I think Myrtle Beach is good enough to make this a competitive football game. I just don't think they're good enough to keep up with all the weapons that Berkeley has on their end. And Berkeley playing this ball game at home, I think that's a big advantage for them as well.
Myrtle Beach got a big game last week from Mike Cohen. They're going to need that again this week if they're going to win this. But I like that Berkeley defense. Jihad Sneed's a stud there. Coach Faulkner does a great job on that side of the football. Coach Lodge is really building that program the right way. The Stags are up and coming, I feel like. I think Berkeley at home wins this football game. A little too much firepower on offense. I think their defense is good enough to stop Myrtle Beach enough times to win it, I think. Scott's Myrtle Beach will surprise everybody. We'll see about that. Should be a great game. Jarrell, comments from you or the chat. Chris says Berkeley and the Slicker Stags roll big on Friday. Chris says Irmo will roll as well. Denard says TL Hanna wing tees hard to stop with 1 week of prep. Exactly right. That's what worries me is like you haven't seen that all year long. You got to do it now in the playoffs is really tough. Courtney's taking Indian Land 38-20. Bradley said if Gaffney can turn it over, very possible. Certainly should be a great football game. Real says Hanna not being talked about enough. Yeah, and they're a team that we obviously laid in the weeds as well. It feels like TL Hanna. Like, we had a hard time. Didn't really want to rank them, but we felt like we had to. And just, Been an odd year for them.
A little inconsistent at the beginning of the year.
Yeah. Deion's taking Indiana by 2 scores. Travis has Hannah by 10+. Chris says Indiana by 10+. A lot of mixed opinions this week. Gaffney by 3, says Travis. Denard says he's going with Northwestern.
Yeah. It's a lot of good stuff here, man. We'll see what happens. A lot of good comments here. Nobody knows. I think 5A. Here's the best comment that we see.
Yeah, D2 wide open.
It is in fact wide open. So let's go to 4A, guys.
Let's look down at the 4A bracket now, John.
Yeah, we see a rematch here at the top of the bracket. South Point hosting AC Flora. I believe that first game was in Columbia. This game will be in Rock Hill.
Yeah, that was a 35-12 win for South Point the first time around in that one. And we've said it, I feel like every week, you're not going to beat South Point throwing the football, which is what AC Flora wants to do. But the run game with Jalen Simmons has really come on strong for that Flora bunch lately. Coach Floyd's done a great job kind of bringing that along. But South Point, they get another weapon back. Caden Vassell is back last week. He had a big game for them. I think the Stallions is too much talent, like what they can do on both sides of the football. Xavier Currents is playing great at quarterback and on defense when they need him there. I think Coach Collins' bunch moves on.
Yeah, I do too. AC Flora, great team, very good season. Nothing against them if they lose this one on Friday, but South Point just that good. And then the winner of that game is gonna take on the winner of Westside Camden. This game being played in Anderson. This definitely not a game that I expected to see at this juncture of the playoffs. But Westside has really come alive. Camden destroying Daniel last Friday. I mean, they took out a lot of state championship frustration in that game. That was an impressive win for the Dogs.
They dominated throughout in that one, really.
Yeah, and I don't know. I'm not sure what to expect in this football game. I'm gonna go. I mean, Westside blew out Ren too, so I don't know. I want to go Camden. I think Camden's a little bit more experienced team from not from a playoff perspective and big game perspective, but just from a senior leadership perspective. I think they've got a little bit more senior leadership on this team, especially at the quarterback position. I'm going to go Camden for that reason. That's going to be a really tough game to win over in Anderson.
We mentioned it, Westside 0-4 now to the third round of the playoffs, won 8 games in a row. Coach Lane's done a fantastic job there, helping that program kind of grow up throughout the season. Bear Woods, Keelan Powell, Jacob Lewis being big-time players for them. And I thought that Wren game would be close this week, and it was not. Like, they hammered those boys from the jump. And obviously Camden just destroyed Daniel. I was looking at that score, and I was like, oh, it's early. They'll come back. No, Camden was just pedal to the metal from go. I think it's going to be a really close football game. And, we talked about some tough road trips this week, John. How about going from Camden to Westside on Friday night? That's a tough drive there for the Bulldogs and Coach Remp's bunch there. But I think this is going to be a great football game. Looking for Jay. I don't know what to do here, Jay. You're putting us in a tough spot here. You said, "Don't pick us, don't pick against us." I
think I took Camden last week, so not all of us.
Yeah, I think it's a close football game here. I like both squads. I don't know which one I want to pick yet, but I do like both these teams. I think it should be a really tight ball game over in Anderson on Friday. But seriously, though, when we do realignment, can we put Camden back in the lower state? Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, look right on that edge. Right on the edge.
John.
Well, some years they're lower state, some years they're upper state. We get
to be lower state. That's too
get bounced around a lot. On the lower state side of the bracket, one of our CONA games of the week, we got South Florence hosting North Augusta. And the winner of that game, they'll take on the winner of Hilton Head hosting Gray. Hilton Head has had an absolutely terrific season. I think they're a great football team. I've been high on them all year. I think Gray wins this game.
I do too. And I like that Grove Collegiate offense a lot. Xavier Wright, Trayvon Williamson, Royce Williamson, done a great job there for Coach Bryant, getting better and better throughout the season. They've got 2 losses, James Island, Dutch Fork. Two pretty good football teams there they've lost to. So I think Grove Collegiate wins. I think they move on to the lower state final. Any comments from you or the chat, Drell, on 4A?
Let's keep it rolling, guys.
Let's look down to 3A ranks now, John.
Yeah, on the upper state side of the bracket, Powdersville hosting Mountain View. Mountain View gated by Crescent 50-49 last week.
John, what's crazy, they've won both their games by 1 point so far in the playoffs. MVP has. I mean, I don't know if that's a sign, like a special. This will be a special year. I don't know what to make of that, man. But that is just a wild thing we've seen so far in round 1 and round 2 out of the Stars there.
And they're a great team, and I like a lot of the talent they have on that team. I don't know that they're going to have the horseshoe this Friday. I think Powdersville, they're playing really, really good football. They're at home. That's a really good environment. Coach Mustert's going to have that team ready to go. I like Powdersville winning this game at home. Should be another great game. Whether it's a 1-point game or not, I don't know. But I like Powdersville to win a close one here.
I do too. I think the quarterback there, Kagan Reeves, is a little too talented. I think he's done a great job this year. Coach Nimmer's defense, I'm sure, will have a good game plan for Mac Anderson and Katie Hainsworth and those guys there from MVP. But should be a great football game. I think MVP's been kind of playing a little too close to the number there for me lately, man, and it just worries me this week. But I like that matchup too. It could be a lot of points in that. Might be my points factory pick for this week right there.
It certainly could be. And then the bottom side of the upper state bracket is another CONA game of the week. Woodruff hosting Belton-Honea. We know that's going to be a great one too. Also, and we love 3A, right?
Yeah.
Another CONA game of the week. And the lower state side, Loris traveling to Newberry. And the other game in the lower state side of the bracket, Oceanside hosting Dillon. A Dillon team that's looked really good here in the first 2 rounds. I don't know they got enough for Oceanside, but Oceanside, a little bit more of a closer ball game last week with Marlboro County than I expected.
Yeah, this is a game that we saw last year, and I'm going to actually play some highlights from that while we're talking about it, John. But and I'll stop. I don't want to get to a certain point here, but Oceanside, I was surprised, kind of let Marlboro County hang around last week, and a team that had a chance to beat Irmo, has beat Dutch Fork. I thought they would handle them pretty easily, but yet the Bulldogs were in that game late. A little bit surprised by that, but Oceanside still wins. I really hope we get to see a matchup of Zay Robertson, the UNC commit at DB, against Terrence Johnson from Oceanside. I think that would be a great matchup if we see those two go at it a few times. But this game last year, John, Dillon scores twice late to make it 28-21. They get the football back here. They're driving. They run a little trickeration here. So they're down by 7. They got a chance to tie the game. Run a little reverse pass here. Look at this. We got the tight end wide open to run to the end zone. Falls down on 3rd down. You go for it on 4th down here the next play, you get stopped. That's how close Dillon was to sending that game to overtime or even going for 2 and winning that football game last year. That was an Oceanside team that we thought couldn't be beat. Dillon had them on the ropes on the road. I'm not calling for an upset quite yet. I think about that, but I think the Wildcats, that's a game, if you look back at it, you want to have another shot at those Land Sharks, man. And I think they're going to get it this week. And the worry for me with Dillon, Oceanside's front 7, really good, man. We saw it in that Dutch Fork game firsthand. Like they beat up the Silver Foxes up front, man. They did a great job dominating a lot of scrimmage. That worries me in this game. And also, when you're the Wildcats, you got a young freshman quarterback, Kale Sam Fontaglia, this deep in the playoffs, man. You just worry about the youth there. You got to get them a couple of easy throws early on in that game. I think Oceanside, too talented with Manavian and Johnson and whatnot there. But I think this could be a sneaky good football game here. Watch out. Dillon has some real talent, but I do like Oceanside, I think, to win this game.
Yeah, I think Oceanside wins this one up front. I think they win on the line. We look at that Dillon-Loris game where Dillon just absolutely got smothered in the second half offensively by Loris. And Oceanside, I don't know that Oceanside's going to do that to him as well, but they've certainly got the capability. It's going to be certainly a game that Dillon can win, but they're going to have a lot of things have to go their way, I think.
Jarrell, comments from you or the chat on the 3A slate? Broderick's taking 35-17. The View over the Ville, taking MVP to win that game. Nathaniel's got MVP 21-20. Another 1-point win. I like it, Nathaniel. Dion's got 48-45 MVP. Dion says dealing with the upset 21-17. Derek says Powdersville defense playing strong. They are playing really good. That group we were worried about early on in the year weren't making a lot of stops. They played a lot better down the stretch for Coach Nimmer and Coach Muster there. Travis has Powdersville by 7. Justin says Dillon will come to play. No doubt about it. Coach Roller's bunch will be ready to roll. That was a big, I said it last week on the show, like, hey, if you're Dillon, watch out for Silver Bluff. And they they saw them and beat the brakes off of those guys. Like there was nothing for them to watch out for. That was a really impressive victory over that Bulldog bunch. Deuce says Oceanside says so fundamentally sound. They really are. They're well coached. The kids play good football for sure. Lavetta says Oceanside will sail through. Chris says Dillon by 1 in 4 OTs. I would love to see that football game. That would be awesome to watch there. Terrence has got Dillon for the win. Josh says Dillon will get the state's attention this week. I mean, I think they've got the talent to do it. I mean, you mentioned Sam Funktalia, and you got Felton, and you got Capehart, and you got Robertson, and you got Harrison. I mean, you got a lot of athletes there for the Nasty Cats. So they certainly have the talent to do it, but we'll see how it shakes out.
A lot of fun. Dillon, I hope they make it close. It should be a lot of fun. And then I love to say that I inspired that Powdersville defense. I picked them in a points factory game, and they proceeded to shut out that team that week. So, we typically do things like that, just like the Camden picks last week and things like that. So it's a lot of fun. But let's thank some friends. And
let's do that, Drill. Friends of the program, and we'll go back through the 2A, 1A, and SCISA slate.
Schedule your sewer drain clearing with Preferred Home Services today. If we can't clear it, it's free.
Electrical, plumbing, cooling too.
Go, 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 Preferred!
Looking for top-notch sports gear and uniforms? Look no further than First Team Sports. With 30 years of serving the Carolinas, First Team Sports is your local full-service dealer. From youth teams to colleges, we've got you covered with team uniforms, staff apparel, Letterman jackets, sports equipment, and facility branding. Visit our local store in Greenville or firstteamsc.com. Make First Team your first choice.
Founders Federal Credit Union means banking made for you. The on the go, the pick up and go, and the I want to go. Because at Founders, we give you the financial tools that make every dollar work for you. For the little things to the big things. For your future and your peace of mind. We'll always stay grounded in our roots, but reaching beyond what you'd expect is where we'll always go. Find out what our members already know and enjoy a new way to bank. Relax, you're with Founders.
Okay, before we look at 2A, I do want to mention a comment I saw here. Justin said, nothing on Loris again this week. Justin, Loris Newberry is one of our games of the week. We broke down Loris and Newberry at the beginning of the show, gave a very long preview of the Lions and the Bulldogs. Go check that out when the show is over. Go watch it back. I think you'll be pleased with some of the picks in that one. Go check that out. Once again, if you missed any of those games, our 5 CONA games of the week, they will be at the beginning of the show when the show is over. We give those an in-depth breakdown of each one of those. John, let's look down to the 2A ranks now and go through that schedule.
At the top of the bracket, Clinton hosting Fairfield Central. Fairfield Central, very impressive last week. I don't know that they're good enough to win over in Clinton, though. What do you think?
Clinton won this game 32-21 last year for Upper State to win that title there. This can be a great football game. Fairfield Central's a team that we kind of wrote off. We had them at 4 or 5 in our poll for a while, took them out, put them back in. Didn't really know what to make of them, man. But that group, Caden Diggs, Derek Cameron, Kalen Culp on defense has done a really good job for Coach Davis this year. But Clinton is Clinton, man. I think he playing great football. Javen Cook, 1 touchdown away from tying the single-season record, which is held by Brian Kingsbury. I think that's it's 30-something here, 35, 36. I can't remember the number is on that. And I saw this stat. Shout out to our friend Zach Walford sent us this stat. Clinton 56-13 all time in the playoffs at Wilder Stadium.
Wow.
So tough place to play. Certainly once November rolls around there, obviously all the time, but especially in November. Javen's got 35 rush chances. Thank you, Kathy. I appreciate that. Yeah, I think Clinton at home a little too much, man. I think they will find a way to slow down Cameron and Diggs enough at Fairfield Central to win this football game. I think the Red Devils move on to the Upper State Final.
Now, this next game is the game that you want to pick all the games this week. And the one game that I really don't have any clue about is Chester hosting Strom-Thurmond, a Strom-Thurmond team we've liked all year long. And for good reason, they've been great. They played very well first 2 rounds of the playoffs. But the Cyclones, I mean, they beat Batesburg-Leesville by 2 touchdowns last week. They have really woken up, and they get to play this game at home.
Yeah.
I have a hard time going against Strom-Thurmond, but if you say, hey, what have you done for me lately? Well, Chester's been doing a lot lately. I think Strom-Thurmond wins this game. I think they're just the better team. Chester arguably playing better football right now, but I think Strom-Thurmond is the better team. I think they win this game on the road.
Chester running back Caleb Feaster, super explosive, had 143, 2 touchdowns last week. Quarterback Delmary Cockrell, Caldwell, and Taylor, also big games on the ground for them. Terry Radford, had, I think, 20-something plus sacks last year, had a crazy season. He's back leading that Cyclone defense coach Victor Floyd there, along with Darian Baxley. On the Strom Thurmond side, we know the names there. Tons of weapons with Simpkins and those guys. I mean, I love what Coach Webb is doing there. I will say this. I had a coach text me this week, not saying what coach, not saying what his job is, not saying where he coaches, none of that stuff. Unprovoked said, I think there's about a 77% chance that Chester beat Strom Thurmond on the road. And I was like, whoa, okay. I did not expect that. So that had me kind of looking at this game a little bit, John. Obviously Strom Thurmond, they won a little revenge from last year. They went on the road to Chester in round 2. We saw them last year.
Yeah, it was early.
I think it was round 1. He got beat pretty handily there. They want a little revenge. I think Coach Floyd's bunch at Chester has really improved throughout the season. They had the weird loss to Mid-Carolina a couple weeks back. We didn't see that coming. But I think Strom Thurmond, I like them at home. I think that's a big key there. I mean, that's a great place to play, great atmosphere. I think the Rebels at home win this football game. You got to contain Feaster. That's the key, of course, containing Feaster there. I think you get the run game going there for yourself. You stop the Chester run game. I think you win this football game. But it should be a tight one. Great football game there.
Yeah, I didn't realize. I thought the game was going to be in Chester. That's a big difference. And I think another good thing for Strom Thurmond is they got to see how fast Feaster was last year.
Yes.
I don't know if he's going to surprise them with the speed this year.
Yeah, great point. Great point.
And then on the lower state side of the bracket, Hampton County going up against Manning. I think this game is going to be at Manning as well.
It is. I think in this one, Manning, a team that we kind of wrote off as well. I mean, Canty was hurt for a while. They weren't playing great football. Lost to Scotts Branch early on. And Hampton County just continued to roll once they got in the region play. Once they got out of non-region and started playing some 2A teams, they've been great. I think Jalen Singletary's 2,000-plus rushing yards this year. I think he's too much. I think Coach Hannah's bunch moves on.
I think so, too. But I think this Manning team is better than what I've given them credit for, though.
For sure.
This could be a really, really good ball game. That's a Timberland group that I like, and they put it on Timberland last week.
And Terrence mentions it here. That was a great win for Hampton County as well over a good Sherall team, a team that we liked a lot. That was a great win for Terrell Grant and Jalen Singletary and crew there. They've been really impressive down the stretch.
And then on the bottom side of the bracket, Philip Simmons hosting Central Pageland. Tell you what, I know we've talked a lot about this Pageland group this year. Not as much about Philip Simmons. I think Philip Simmons wins this game at home.
Yeah, Central Pageland, you got Dwayne Llewellyn, Jakari Holman, Ashton Wilson, Tavon Moore. That crew for Coach Easton's doing a great job this year. Obviously, they're kind of playing for a bigger cause. They had the player, die in the offseason, pass away in the offseason. They've kind of really rallied around that, and they played some spirited football this year, it feels like. But I'm very worried about them stopping the Philip Simmons passing game with Kellerman and what those guys can do there for the Iron Horses. That worries me a lot. Can they make enough stops? Will Philip Simmons be able to throw the football in them, which kind of worries me there. Should be a great football game, though, I think. Any comments, Jarrell, from you or the chat on the 2A slate?
A lot of comments, a lot of Strom Thurmond votes here. Clinton obviously getting a lot of votes, some good stuff. But the main thing I want to say is, Kathy, please comment a lot more. You had some great stuff, and reminded me, I forgot about that game with Fairfield Central last year. That was a fantastic game. Tadarian Greer was an absolute stud for almost willed Fairfield Central to that game there. But Kathy, we need your comments more frequently. Thanks for joining the show tonight.
Let's look at the 1A slate now, John.
Louisville with the big-time win last week against Abbeville. They'll host C.A. Johnson this Friday. I'm not going to say they roll, but I think they win comfortably Friday.
Yeah, what's crazy, John? Like, it's hard to imagine a letdown spot in the playoffs. But if there is one, it's here. Like, this is it. If there is, I mean, you beat big bad Abbeville. You come from 14 down in the fourth quarter to score late, go for 2 with Jacorian Howes. You get it, and you turn around and you got to play a C.A. Johnson team that's 7-5 that you think you're a lot better than. I mean, this is a letdown spot if there ever was one. They already beat C.A. Johnson 67-16 earlier this year. I think Louisville rolls again, man. Coach Usher's bunch, I think, is too talented. Even if they don't play their best, I still think they win this football game behind Howes and that group there, Culp and whatnot.
before we go through the rest of the bracket, guys, I got to ask you, like, what does this do for the psyche and the confidence for every other 1A program, knowing that Abbeville is no longer in the tournament?
Yeah.
And they legitimately, you know, and not to say they didn't feel that before, but like there is a real feeling that they can win a state title this year. How does that affect everybody else?
I mean, that's crazy. I had a buddy text me on Saturday, said, hey, with Abbeville losing, like, who's the favorite in 1A now? And I was like, I can name off like 6 teams. Like, I don't know. Like, I mean, Bamberg's right there. Carvers Bay's right there. Cross, Lamar, Louisville. I mean, I don't know. It's a lot more open than it was a week ago for sure.
I think you could ask 3 or 4 teams and they would say they're the favorite.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if you're Louisville, how do you not feel like you are now?
Yep. Yeah, that was a huge win for them. I think they roll again this week, man. I love what that group did, going on the road to Abbeville and winning that football game.
And then the winner of that game will face the winner of Lamar, Hunter, Kenner, Tyler. That game will be played at Lamar. HKT's had a great season, had a really good win over a really good Ware Shoals team last week. I think Lamar at home, though, I like the Silver Foxes. I think they're playing their best football, the best time to do it. I think Lamar wins this one at home.
HKT, big games from Summers, Stroman, and Landy last week. A team that we also kind of written off after some slow starts. You know, got hammered by Bamberg early on, got beat by Louisville early on. They really played well down the stretch there. On the Lamar side, quarterback Zori Pierce is back. Nigel Eady has been really good for Coach Boyd the last few weeks. I think Lamar at home, too. I think it's too much, man. That's a tough place to play. I like the Silver Foxes over in Darlington County on Friday night.
Then we got one of our CONA games of the week here. Carvers Bay traveling to Bamberg-Ehrhardt. And the winner of that game is going to face off with Cross hosting Johnsonville. Really good game here. You talk about 2 teams that love the playoffs. Yeah. That's Cross and Johnsonville. I think I'd have to go Cross because they're at home. I think these teams are pretty evenly matched, but 2 really, really good football teams here too.
2 really well-coached teams as well there, John. I think Johnsonville, they'll be able to score some points on Cross, but I think Cross is too many athletes, you know, with Ramsey and that crew there. I think Coach Wright's bunch has a good chance to win this week. That should be a great football game. I think Cross is a little too talented, a little too explosive, especially on offense, I think, for that Johnsonville bunch. Darrell, comments from you or the chat on the 1A slate?
No, just excited to see this bracket just so wide open, especially in the upper state now. And C.A. Johnson, man, that's a cool story to see them make it this far. This is a team that we saw them play Louisville last year. So, and it was a really, really tight football game. I think it was only a 1-score game. So, we'll see how that one shakes out this year.
They and the Hornets, they haven't given up a point yet in the playoffs.
Something to watch. Like
we gotta put a qualifier on that a little bit, John. A little bit of a qualifier on the teams they played, but
hey, that's okay.
That's true. KV says Jayville all the way.
Actually, all we got on 1A right now. Sorry, guys.
Wow, 1A slack.
We had
1A slacking tonight. All right. Oh, let's look down at the SCISA ranks now. This is actually the SCISA state title weekend here, John and Jarrell and fans across the state. Going to be a lot of fun. Let's start with the 8-man state title. We've got W.W. King taking on Lawrence for the 3rd time this season, John. This is a 7 o'clock kick on Friday night over at Greenwood Christian. And King has won the first 2 games 60-34 and 44-20 over Lawrence Academy. You know, King, led by running back Joseph Morse, had 216, 4 touchdowns last week. Quarterback Hutto, receiver Hill, defensively Hussey and Buzzhart. Lawrence, led by quarterback Ethan Collins and running back Caleb Hardy. Hard to beat a team 3 times in a season, man. You don't really see it that much in football. It's more of a basketball type thing you say, man. But I think King wins again, wins a state title. What do you think in this matchup?
I think so too. I think getting 3 is easier than getting the 2, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You got the confidence. Hey, you're 2-0, go for the sweep.
Yeah, and really surprising to not see a Holly Hill or a Jefferson Davis team in this 8-man game, man. 2 teams that have, really ran 8-man for a while in SCISA, but did not quite make it this year, got knocked off last week. In the 1A game, 3:30 on Saturday, Collin and Prep versus Williamsburg. Collin and Prep, a bit of a surprise with a big win over Dorchester last week, avenged an earlier loss, led by Cale Owens and Tanner Wolf, Thomas Corbett and Hartman Fisk. Williamsburg, quarterback Micah Balder, running back Grant Small went 37 for 272 last week. Receivers Charlie Calder and Jay Callahan. Williamsburg, the Stallions, they lost the state title last year to Thomas Hayward. Looking for a little revenge. They've played great football all year long. That's a program that has been super impressive. A 9-1 record, have beat a ton of really good football teams this year. I think they win this week. I think they do get a 10-1 record. I think they do get a state title. Their one loss to Bethesda just by 2 points. I think the Stallions win this game over at Orangeburg 3:30 on Saturday, John.
Yeah, I think I like them to win the state championship, hoist that trophy as well.
Yeah, Brian's got Williamsburg as well, looks like there. In the 2A ranks, a rematch of last year's 2A state title. We've got Bethesda taking on PD Academy. Bethesda won 49-0 earlier this season, but PD has played better as of late. Running back Tristan Heckman, 259 and had 4 touchdowns last week. Judson Martin, Miles Wiggins, Ryan Small, also playmakers for the Golden Eagles. Bethesda led by Jordan Turner, Jeffrey Armstrong, Rollo Wesley, and Isaiah Redmond. I think it's going to be closer to 49-0. I think the Golden Eagles will play a little better this time, but, man, that's a tough hill to climb to beat the Blazers.
Yeah, I like Bethesda to win this one again. Hopefully it's not that big of a spread, though.
Brian says Bethesda wins big. I mean, I think the only game they have played close was that Williamsburg game, which is a 2-point game. They've hammered everybody else this year. It feels like the Blazers have got a really good team down there. So that's the 3:30 game. That's the noon game on Saturday, Bethesda and PD. The 3A game, we mentioned that earlier, that's Wilson Hall, Pinewood Prep. They're playing Saturday night. We break that down in our CONA games of the week. And then the 4A game, another matchup people probably did not expect. That's Heathwood Hall taking on Northwood Academy. Northwood won 39-20 earlier this year. Heathwood Hall, the big win over Hammond last week, led by quarterback Patrick Belt. Northwood led by Kevin Johnson, Kaven Ford, Aiden Hogan, and Drew Wolf. I think Heathwood's going to be able to score the football on Northwood. The key is, can they stop them enough to win this game? And I don't know if they can. I think Coach Waters, Northwood gets a win in this one. But hats off to Coach Zimmerman knocking off Hammond last week. What he's done at Heathwood Hall has been really impressive. They're a team that's on the rise. I think Northwood ain't the Chargers a little too much talent in this football game.
I'm going to go with the hot hand. Give me Heathwood.
I like it. John, go with Heathwood. I like that pick there. Jarrell, comments or picks from you or from the chat? Who do you like in these SCISA games here?
Look at John. That's a nice one there. Give me Northwood in that game for sure. But no, it should be a great, weekend of champions is always fun. And I love that we get to do it, a little bit earlier in the season where SCISA wraps up with them being smaller, so we can give them, their props and their due before we get into the high school league championships. Brian's going with you, John. He's jumping off.
All right, let's go.
I don't know what y'all are
couple
on
Highlanders
week,
picks.
But yeah, Northwood, they've been the best team all year in 4A, so I'm gonna ride with them. That's all we got for this one, guys.
Perfect. Drill, let's shout out some friends of the program, then we'll come back, go through our pick'em and a few other things before we wrap up the program.
Founders Federal Credit Union means banking made for you. The on the go, the pick up and go, and the I want to go. Because at Founders, we give you the financial tools that make every dollar work for you. For the little things to the big things. For your future and your peace of mind. We'll always stay grounded in our roots, but reaching beyond what you'd expect is where we'll always go. Find out what our members already know and enjoy a new way to bank. Relax, you're with Founders.
The George Agency has been serving the insurance needs of South Carolina for over 40 years. They're a full-line insurance agency concentrated in employee benefits and health insurance with an office in Mullins and Murrells Inlet, but they can help you all across the state. They have clients in Greer, Rock Hill, Columbia, and more, so wherever you are, they can help. Give Bradley, Wayne, Richard, and the crew a call or check them out online at thegeorgeagency.net. That's thegeorgeagency.net. Our Pick'em contest brought to you by Hannah Engineering. 11 games each week. We're in our playoff Pick'em now. A lot of fun. Gives you a reason to watch games outside of just your area, just outside of your team as well. So, Jarrell, our round 2 leaders, who do we have in our Hannah Engineering Pick'em contest? We have a 4-way tie at first. 9s from Charles, Dale, Garrett, and Q-Dog. A bunch of 8s. Jarrell and John with 8. Myself with 7. As you guys will see, last week was tough. We've said that. And it's evident by the fact we didn't have any 10s or 11s. So we used to see at least a 10 or so lead this group. So really a tough week. Shout out to those guys. Now, our overall leader so far in the playoffs, we got Garrett, Chase, and Tyler all at 18. A few at 17, some 16s. Jarrell leading us at 18. John and I at 16 so far. Couple weeks left, guys. Feel free still to join this contest. We post it on social media each week. It's also in our email blast that gets sent out. Hope you join that. It's a lot of fun. A lot of, one of the most fun things that we do It's a pick-em contest. I really enjoy doing that and keeping up with guys across the state. Appreciate our friends at Hannah Engineering for bringing us that each and every week. Shout out to our teams of the week from Preferred Home Services. We had Louisville, Camden, Heathwood Hall, and Chester, all with big wins last week. First Team Sports, our friends who bring us our polls. We were done with polls until the end of the season. We'll have a season-ending poll, but want to shout them out as well. And then our playoff performers insured by the Georgia HCA. You guys, I will say, this may have been the longest list of playoff performers we got all year long. Like, we got tons of comments from you guys. It had to be 40, 50 deep probably. That's on our website right now, social media as well. Go check out that. And every week, send us these great stats you see, because we don't see everything, but if you send us somebody, we're going to put it in the blog. We'll shout them out. So hopefully you guys continue to send us those. Once again, our friends at First Team Sports, Hannah Engineering, Preferred Home Services, and the George Agency. Jarrell, any more comments from the chat before we wrap up here for the night?
Comment of the night right here.
Tim says the Berkeley Stags 9-0 and Kevin isn't there. Hey, I'm for higher. If you're on the other side of that, we'll see. But I'll be sure to stay away, Tim. Great comment, man. I love that. Good luck to the Stags this week. I think they got a good chance to beat Myrtle Beach, man. I've not had good luck with that Berkeley group this year, that's for sure.
Yeah, I don't think we're welcome there. We're definitely not welcome at Wilder Stadium. I know we're not welcome there. So, yeah, that's hilarious. But no, it's winding it down, man. Week 3 of the playoffs it's the hardest to pick. I think it's the most competitive. You have, state championship level games this week, so it's going to be a lot of fun. Again, you're listening to us on Tuesday. Please get somewhere on Friday. Also Saturday, if you're going to go see a SCISA game, go see one of those championships. So go support those teams as they have weekend of champions. But I'm just really excited about this slate, man. I don't think there's a bad one around. So if you go to a game this week, you're definitely in for a treat.
Yeah, as always, guys, be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter/X, Instagram, YouTube, and more at Movin Chains. That's MOVINCHAINS. Also on TikTok as well. MovinChains.com is our website, our podcast on Apple, Spotify, Google, and more. Thank you, Skyland. 2-0 when Kevin's at Woodruff. So somebody wants me there. I appreciate that. Thank you, Skyland. We'll see where I end up, man. But I know the Wolverines want me there. The Bears probably don't. So we'll see how that shakes out. But yeah, each and every Tuesday we do a weekly preview show at 7:15 on Facebook and YouTube. Come join us for that. We break down all the games from that week. A lot of fun to do that. We have teams of the week, players of the week, stock up, coach interviews, player interviews, lots of great stuff every other day on social media for you guys to watch as well. So hopefully you tune into that. Follow us on every platform that we have. Right now, get your Moving the Chains merch. Some great stuff, some great hoodies. We've got a gray hoodie now, front logo and back logo. Also kind of an ash color here. I'm trying to grab that for you. We have a lot of T-shirts. Got a gray T-shirt, a black T-shirt, a navy blue, and a pink. You can order this by emailing us at info@movingchains.com or send us a DM on social media. That's fine as well. Richardson hats, gray front, black back, gray back. Got them both for you. Really high-quality stuff here. Also, some Moving the Chains toboggans, a black one and a gray one for those cold weather games, and then a sticker looks great on your laptop, your Yeti cup, your tumbler, your car, whatever you want to do. Hopefully you'll support the boys and help us get the word out. Once again, email info@movingchains.com or send us a DM on any social media. Those are also posted there for you to look at on social media as well. John, any last thoughts from you on this round 3 playoff slate?
I am just, after last Friday, I'm just so excited about what kind of games we're going to get to see this Friday. I mean, this is where high school football really plants its flag as being the most fun football you can watch. NFL is great. You see top line talent. College is awesome with the pageantry and, good parity in college football. But high school football is just different. It's just different. You don't have some of the games that we have in high school football. You just don't have at the other levels. And it's great. It's great to be a part of. It's great to watch. And I love seeing these kids get to celebrate some big-time wins and big-time accomplishments.
Yeah, no doubt about it. If you guys see us at a game Friday, not sure where we're going yet, be sure to come up and say hello. Had a great time talking to David last week, a couple other guys that we met down on the field, got to talk to them, Jay and whatnot. Obviously, Coach McCoy, Bryson Bowers, Connor Dantzler, Raphael Puyu. Great interviewing those guys post-game as well. Appreciate the folks at Sumter, Coach Davis, Coach Barnes for having us out there. Really enjoyed it. It was a great atmosphere, a great football game. So if you see us Friday, say hello. Love to talk some ball with you, man. Really enjoy doing that. Jarrell, final thoughts from you or the chat. I know you want to shout out the YouTube as well. We keep climbing the subscribers right now, man.
Yeah, YouTube kind of let us down. The comments weren't working, so sorry about that. Had the comments down. So we run through StreamYard, so sometimes it just doesn't sync up. That's really the only technical issue, knock on wood, we've had all season. So sorry for our YouTube viewers, but thanks for continuing to run that up. And that's always a good plug for you to follow us across all platforms, because if one of those goes down, you have the opportunity to keep up with us on something else. So we appreciate you guys running that up and continuing to subscribe and like and follow. Continue to tell friends and family about what we do. 2 more shows, guys, after this week. So winding down. 16 weeks goes by really, really quick. So here we are.
Yeah, I'm going to blame YouTube on the comments. I don't know what happened with that. I blame those guys. Couldn't have been us.
It's Google.
But, man, what a great show this has been, man. It's just like we said when we started off the show, John, great games all across the state, man. Going to be a great Friday night of football, great Saturday football as well. So for Jarrell Hendricks and John Epps, I'm Kevin Thomas. This has been our Moving the Chains Round 3 playoff preview show, talking all things South Carolina high school football. We'll catch you guys next week.
Get ready for the ultimate South Carolina high school football experience with Moving the Chains. From previews to recaps, we've got you covered. Dive into our expert preview shows, predicting winners and sharing insights. Then join us post-game for the thrilling recaps, exclusive interviews, and highlights you won't find anywhere else. Plus, connect with fellow fans on our Friday night spaces on Twitter/X. No one covers South Carolina high school football like us. Join us at Moving Chains on all social media platforms and visit movinchains.com today.